Hello everyone and welcome back to my LEGO Battlebots series. Today is episode 7, as read in the title. Thanks for coming as usual, and I have nothing else planned, so here's the fight card. We got Cobalt taking on Glitch. We got Bloodsport taking on Huge. We got Overhaul taking on Gigabyte. Our fourth match is none other than Uppercut taking on Warhawk. Then after that we got Ominous taking on Captain Shredderator. And for our main event we got Endgame taking on Copperhead. Those are all of today's matches. And let's get into it, because I got nothing else to do. Here's Cobalt showing off its new wedge design with 2 forks and the plow behind it. Here's Glitch coming off of a loss to Sawblaze. Both robots have made some improvements since their last match, like how Glitch has now swapped to much smoother Omni wheels. Yeah, that was a pretty long time. Let the battle begin. Cobalt gets right under Glitch, gets a nice shot. Glitch getting that drum ready and gets flipped over. Cobalt now going to work. Oh, Cobalt flips Glitch back over. Glitch now flipped again, but breaks off one of Cobalt's forks. Glitch now just taking damage from Cobalt while it's upside down. And Cobalt's weapon's broken. Of course. Now Cobalt will take the win, and Cobalt is now 1-1 while Glitch falls to 0-2. Hopefully we will see Glitch in the Desperado tournament. Here we got Bloodsport and Huge. Bloodsport has probably one of the largest blades in the competition. Let the battle begin. As I was saying, Bloodsport has probably the biggest horizontal spinner in my competition, and one of the biggest blades, period. And I don't just mean biggest as in size, I also mean biggest as in weight. That is why Bloodsport is able to deal such heavy blows to others. It's because that blade hits so hard. Huge now doing some nice damage to Bloodsport's weapon. Bloodsport now pushing around Huge. Bloodsport, even with a unbalanced weapon, they are continuing to attack. Bloodsport gets its very first win after it had lost to Beta, I believe. Next up is none other than Gigabyte with a brand new shell after the last one broke in the last match. This Gigabyte also made some motor upgrades, which means that it will be spinning much faster and smoother now. Let the battle begin. Overhaul rushing Gigabyte. Gigabyte just ripping off a chunk of that lifter. Gigabyte now being pushed towards a wall as its shell breaks. Gigabyte now being lifted by Overhaul, and Gigabyte is out. Overhaul is somehow 2-0. And Gigabyte is somehow 0-2. I think we will also see Gigabyte in the Desperado tournament. Now here we have Uppercut in Warhawk. Uppercut is hoping to get one last match out of their old base. Uppercut is swapping to a new base after this match. Let the battle begin. Uppercut gets a nice hit. Uppercut will swap to a different, much stronger base after this match. Uppercut now just ripping apart Warhawk. Warhawk having lost both of its wedges, and Warhawk has been split into two. Uppercut now finishing him off, ripping off that spinner, ripping off more chunks. Chunks are everywhere. Warhawk is just war. Actually, it's not even war or hawk. It's just W. Warhawk shreds up. Uppercut shreds up Warhawk and goes 1. Uppercut is now 2-0. Now we have Captain Shredderator and Ominous. This episode is going by surprisingly fast. Ominous back after a win against Cobalt, and Captain Shredderator back from a loss against Uppercut. Ominous seems to be having some weapon problems. Nope, the weapon's just fine. Captain Shredderator now landing a couple hits as well as giving a couple. Oh, Ominous, one of its wedges just rips right off and is now being shredded away by Captain Shredderator as its back armor falls off and more parts flying off of Ominous. Ominous is high centered. Now Captain Shredderator rips off one of those Omni wheels and just goes to work. Yep, Ominous is dead. Captain Shredderator is now 1-1 and may be the best full body spinner this season. We'll see. It is now main event time. This was quite quick. We're only 7 minutes into the episode and we're already at the main event. Here we have Cobalt and Endgame coming in, and Endgame starting those double long forks and two short forks. Copperhead coming off of a dominant match against Mad Catter. Endgame coming off of its win against Hijinks. The battle begins. Endgame being high centered by its own forks immediately. That's what Endgame was worried about. Copperhead now is a free shot, but Endgame gets unstuck right before, so it doesn't take much damage. Copperhead now ripping off a chunk of forks. Copperhead now gets flipped over by Endgame, but Endgame is high centered. Endgame's now back on its feet, now has a open shot. Rips off some pieces, but misses a huge opening to get some real damage in. Endgame is high centered again. Copperhead now pushing Endgame around. Copperhead now flips back over, and so does Endgame. Copperhead flipped again, and so is Endgame. Copperhead trying to figure out how to get back on its feet. Endgame seems to be dominating this match so far. Endgame now ripping apart the top of Copperhead. Copperhead flips back over, gets that drum going, and rips off another fork of Endgame. Endgame now has 2 forks left. Endgame trying to get Copperhead close to the edge of the arena. Endgame trying to finish off Copperhead, but Copperhead rips off the last... Oh no, Copperhead now rips off the last 2 forks on Endgame. Endgame is now forkless, and now has to try and just use that vert to push around and damage Copperhead, but it doesn't seem to be doing so well, since Copperhead also has some nice low forks. Copperhead is now just drilling away at Endgame, ripping off panels and flipping Endgame on its head. Endgame flips back over, but Copperhead gets an... Oh, Copperhead just rips Endgame into 2. Endgame now has just 1/2 left, and Endgame just being shredded. Will Copperhead finish off its little life? And it seems that Copperhead has won. Wait. No, Endgame's still going. Oh, now Endgame has no life left. That Self-Rider's ripped off. And Copperhead will go 2-0. Copperhead wins this match, and it's a force to be reckoned with. That is all for this episode. It was quite quick. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.